Good afternoon. We're still on the 5th, I believe, of May. Yeah. Uh, and I figured, because I've been cleaning up this room and stuff, or cleaning up in general, I figured I can clear off the rest of the CDs that are currently sat on my sofa and get them packed away, and just go through some more memories. This won't be as long a video as the other ones, but let's do it, because I haven't got as much time today. I'm going to be disappearing from Prime quite a bit to go and put things away and to get the rest of them off the sofa. Start off with Cannibal Corpse's A Skeletal Remain. My mum bought me this back in 2014. I'd just gone to Wathwood. We had a real falling out around this time. I was very unwell, wasn't thinking clearly, and she couldn't handle that at the time, which is the right thing to do, to back away and to understand that I wasn't in a good place. But she bought me this. I asked her to, actually. I very rarely ask anybody for anything, but I was in a really rough place. I says, Mum, there's a new Cannibal Corpse record out. Would you mind picking it me up? I think she offered, though. I do think she said, is there anything I can bring you? And usually I'd say no, because I don't like people to spend money on me, especially my mum, because money is tight at home and stuff, and I know that. But also just because it's not who I am. I'm quite a proud person, I guess. So that's that one. I have good memories of this album, though. I mentioned on a previous video they gave you like iPod Nanos when you were on the assessment ward. I was allowed to keep mine onto the continuing care ward, and I had this put on it, and I listened to it quite a lot. It's an album I still go back to some songs from. I learned the solo to, I learned part of the solo to The Murderous Pact. I really liked Kill or Become. Yeah, great album. Cryptopsy's self-titled album, another one of the Sputnik Music era albums. This was the first new album by the band I heard when it first came out. I remember hating the production on it. I thought it sounded way too clean, but it still has some of the techie death metal stuff that Cryptopsy are known for. I don't like the vocals, but this album's grown on me over the years. I really like Two Pound Torch. I really like the opening riff to, is it Ominous, or is it the Golden Square Mile? And I like Cleansing the Hosts, and then the fan favourites off this album is Redskin Scapegoat, with the jazzy interludes that are more reminiscent of Whisper Supremacy, the third album. Chris Cornell's Euphoria Morning. My mum bought me 3 or 4 CDs one Christmas, alongside a lot of other bits, but the CDs were the Sex Pistols' Nevermind the Bollocks, Iron Maiden's The Number of the Beast, and Chris Cornell's Euphoria Morning. Of the 3, this was the one I'd asked for. The other 2, my mum bought me thinking they would be to my taste, and they were indeed. This one, I really liked this song off of the Casino Royale soundtrack, and so I listened to it, and that song, should I say, repeatedly on my PSP. I had it on there. And I asked my mum for a Chris Cornell CD, and this was the one she got me, and it's his best album. I really like Preaching the End of the World. I think that's a beautiful song. Can't Change Me is very good as well. My brother really likes Chris Cornell as well, so there's a connection there as well. Tattoos, Dangerous and Moving. I don't really like this album. I listened to it once, and I don't think I even finished it. I like the first album, I think it is, 200 kilometers an hour in the Wrong Lane. That's the one with the big singles, Not Gonna Get Us, and All the Things She Said. I really like Clowns off that album, actually. This one is absolute rubbish. I bought it on a whim alongside that record. And yeah, it's not very good. It's like two, I think they're either Russian or Ukrainian or something like that, girls that were pushed as being lesbians by the record label. That was like the whole image, even though I don't think they were. Obviously, I knew a couple of the songs from when I was younger, when they were on the radio a lot, and I liked them. The first album was a lot of fun, but this one is trash. Mayhem's Demon, I'm really excited for this. Love the single Worthless Abominations Destroyed. Really nice copy of it as well. I like this. I don't have much to say about it, but I like it. I bought it from HMV in Lincoln when I think I first went out on leave. Maybe not when I first, maybe it was around the time of COVID. We have 3 original album series, which are like 5 albums bundled together. So we have Testament, really like the first album, love Alone in the Dark, I think that's really catchy. We have Dream Theater, which is Images and Words Away, Falling into Infinity, Metropolis 2, and Train of Thought. I like the first 2 of those records, and I like Metropolis 2. Very good band. My brother likes them a lot as well. I learned little bits of this on guitar, little bits of Images and Words and Metropolis 2 when I was at Swarthwood, I think. Pantera, they're 5 albums from when they were known as Pantera, or when they were known properly, should I say, not known as Pantera, known properly, like widely. I liked Pantera a lot growing up. I really liked Cemetery Gates. I really liked Cowboys from Hell, just the singles. I remember buying a couple of their albums from That's Entertainment, where you could get like 3 CDs for a $5. Yeah, I had their live album at the time as well, and their greatest hits. And when I was about 12, 13, yeah, they were really good, and definitely later than that as well. They were a good band. I liked them a lot. We've got 3 Eminem albums. We'll go through them. Relapse, Refill. The Relapse album's rubbish, but the Refill album has Forever and Elevator on. Elevator was one of the first Eminem songs I ever heard back when I was about 14. Well, no, I'd heard him before, but one of the first ones I actually liked. And then Forever's got one of his best verses on. It's a brilliant song. The album's not very good, though. I mean, what's on here? Beautiful's very good. Beautiful's a fantastic song. Yeah, don't really like that. And then we've got these 2. We've got the Marshall Mathers LP1, which is an all-time classic. This is my original copy from, I don't even know when, 2009, 2008, maybe. Certainly around that time. And this is my first copy of it. This is the one I've always had. And then my mum bought me during the break where I was out of prison, or maybe when I first went to Watford, actually. I think that's more likely. No, I think it was the breaks. I think I was with her when she bought it me. And yeah, this album was the soundtrack for my first few months at Watford, really, because of that, because my mum had bought it me, and it meant a lot to me. I'm not as big a fan of the album, I've got to be honest. The album's not as good as I hoped it would be. It's a sequel to the Marshall Mathers LP. You expect a level of high quality from that. It's still got some amazing stuff on though, like Rap God is awesome. You've got the sequel to Stan, Bad Guy. Yeah, I like this album. I just don't like it as much as that, and I was a little disappointed overall by the quality of it. We'll do, I'm not going to 3 Death albums. We've got Scream Bloody Gore, Individual Thought Patterns, and Sound of Perseverance, all in these nice 2-disc sets. This we'll get on to in a minute. These 2, I just bought them because I didn't own those 2 albums by Death, and Death are a brilliant band. This one I had to buy again. This and Human I had in 2-disc set. I think in 2-disc set in Human's case. Definitely this one. Before when I was at college. So there was a girl called Victoria who I was friends with, who I really quite like actually. She's a nice girl. She works at the hospital, I think now. Who I lent Human and this too. We were in English language together, not literature. Or were we? No, we were in I don't remember. I really don't remember. But we were in a class together anyway. And I lent them to her. And I never got them back, so I went away. And then I saw her on Uttoxeter New Road. I could have swore I recognised her, but she approached me. She was like, "Are you called Mark?" And I was like, "Yes." She was like, "I still have 2 of your CDs. Do you want them back?" And I was like, "No, keep them." And I've seen her a few times around since then, not for a while now. I liked her. She was a really, really nice person. A really decent person, actually. I have some good memories of college, not so much with her, but she was somebody that really made a positive impact on me. We've got a couple of black metal records we can blitz through. We've got Enslaved, another Sputnik era album that I bought. I reviewed it at the time, I think, as well. It's all right. It's very theatrical And then we've got Emperor's Prometheus, my favourite Emperor album. Me and my brother disagree with this on this. I have memories of listening to this whilst I was playing Resident Evil 6, the Xbox 360 version at Whatwood. Resident Evil 6 is rubbish, but yeah, I have memories of listening to this alongside the opening section going through the abandoned party as Leon. We have, I'll save that to last. That one can go last with these. Edge of Sanity's Crimson, 40-minute song released as an album. Amazing song. It has Mike Ackerfeld from Opeth on it. I just remember on Sputnik mentioning, because somebody said they'll listen to it, I said, wait till you get to the long scream, and somebody goes, don't spoil it for people. And it is right. It was silly me. This was the first Alice Cooper live record I ever heard, the first one I owned. I think my grandparents bought it me. It may have been my mum, but I think it was my grandparents for Christmas one year. And this is not my original copy. I bought this from an old CD shop, a record shop. I think in Bakewell or somewhere like that. It's got Is Anyone Home, which was an original song for it. It's got Rob Zombie on some of the songs, the live songs. It's great. It's I really like Teenage Lament 74, Lost in America, Desperado especially. I think Slash was on this version of Desperado. So I had to buy it again. But yeah, that album, I've got a lot of good memories just from the fact that I had it when I was younger, and Alice Cooper was my favourite singer. We'll get on to that when we get to the albums that really stand out to me over the years that I have memories of. We have Shikari's Take to the Skies. My, at the time, best friend Gage, when I was about 17, 18, down Rivers, he liked the song Sorry You're Not a Winner with the clap, clap, clap in it. Yeah, it's the only memory I have with it. And then we come to In Me's The Pride, In Me from Brighton, with an album called The Pride. No, that's just a joke, me. Tom Davis, my best friend at college, probably the best friend in terms of purely as a friend I've ever had, actually. I remember I messaged him when I was on my way out of hospital on Facebook. I said, I'm sorry. We fell out because I was just so crazy at the time. I was delusional. I was not well. And we fell out over it. We didn't fall out over that, but we just stopped speaking. We drifted apart. We were friends for a good couple of years. We spent so many hours together. Usually just around town, playing guitar, stuff like that. But we played Football Manager on my laptop together. We shared stories and stuff. I also knew his cousin, Saris. She was lovely as well. I'll talk more on these people if I get time, hopefully. And even if I don't, I want to at least make time for it, because I think it's important to speak on the people I care about. I am thinking I may have to put the writings on the back burner, actually. That might not be finished. This is much easier to do because writing is slower. But yes, I'll try. Anyway, Tom, one real impact he left on me, like to this day. I said it. Now let me go back to the story. So I wrote to him. I said, look, I'm sorry. I'm doing a lot better now. I'm on my way out. And he sent me the classiest way someone has ever said, I can't do this again, ever. He said, look, I can't remember the wording. I don't have the message anymore. That account's actually dead. But he said something like, I'm really happy to hear you're doing well. And then he explained why he said, I have good memories of back then, but I also have bad memories, and explained why. And said, look, I can't move forward with you, but I'm really glad that you're doing well and stuff. And it meant the world to me. Obviously, there was a sting that maybe I couldn't rekindle that friendship, but no, I have no bad feeling, ill feeling towards Tom whatsoever. That was one of the nicest ways somebody could say F you to you ever, but not in that way, because Tom has never meant it that way. From what I've seen, he's married now. We'll talk about him another day. But yeah, In Me were his favourite band. He lent me his signed copy of this, actually, so I could listen to it and copy it over to my laptop. I remember he really liked Reverie Shore, which is actually my favourite song on this album. Um, and In Me became arguably my favourite band as well for a long time, and they're still right up there. They are a remarkable band. They blend hard rock music with like quite technical guitar work for a couple of their albums. This one's much more like just a straightforward hard rock album. And yeah, they're brilliant. And yeah, I when I look at this, all I think of is Tom. So yeah, it's yeah, right. I'm going to be off frame for a second whilst in fact, I'm going to pause the recording whilst you'll see me in a minute with different CDs. Hello again. You'll notice we have another large stack to go through. We have actually two sides to it here. Let's start here, just because it looks like it's going to fall over. So we have, we'll do these two. Falling in reverse, we have Just Like You, and we have Coming Home. Just Like You. So Falling in Reverse, I had a friend for a while called David. He really liked them. There was one day I was off my head on drugs at the time, and he sat with me, took me back to my place. We listened to the what's it called, Fashionably Late album, which my mum bought me for Christmas that year, actually, the year I got arrested. Yeah, and so this was the next album they released, and then this was the most recent one I heard. Just Like You is okay. It's not brilliant. I bought it. I was okay with it. Coming Home I didn't like, but I know a lot of people do. I know Leafy really liked that album as well. God, we have 4 by the same band. We have Decapitated. We have Winds of Creation, Nihility, Carnival is Forever, and Anticult. Anticult's garbage. Carnival is Forever is fine, very genty, but at times I like The Knife, I like Homo Sum, I like A View from a Hole. Nihility I really like, but the production's a bit shoddy. And Winds of Creation is one of my favourite albums. I think the drummer was 15 at the time, the rest of them were 16, 17, the single were 18 or 19. And yet they created a ridiculously technical, brutal death metal album, and it's excellent. I still listen to it now. I saw this band back in 2013 with Lamb of God. Yeah, I really like this album. I've listened to it many, many times. I've tried learning bits of it. I tried learning Blessed, couldn't do it, it's too hard. I learned bits of the title track, but yeah, they're just a damn good band. We've got 2 Sodom albums, M16 and, I'm not holding them up there, you can't see them, Agent Orange and M16, a nice double disc edition of Agent Orange and then M16. Just a thrash metal band that I liked. I've liked them for a long time. I don't listen to them that much, but those 2 albums are good. M16 I prefer. Cataclysm's Heaven's Venom, one of the first death metal bands I ever heard, and it was, well, not that I ever heard actually, but that I listened to properly an album by, and that I really connected with the song, and on here it was Push the Venom. It's really groovy. I know this album's not very well liked, but I still like that one song. We have Sleeping with Sirens as Gossip. I hate this album, although I do like Legends, but I really like Sleeping with Sirens. Kellen Quinn is a great, great frontman, so yeah. We have 2 Slipknot albums. We have The Grey Chapter and the double disc version of All Hope Is Gone. I bought this because it has Child of Burning Time and Till We Die. That wasn't the song I was thinking of, but Child of Burning Time is a bonus track only available on this edition. I forget where I bought it. I think it was at Hammersborough Market, but it may have been in Rotherham. And yeah, it's a good album. A lot of people don't like this album. I do, and I think the title track's lyrics are actually very pertinent today. And then The Grey Chapter's crap. I remember hearing the singles when it was coming out, and then thinking, oh, this will be alright. This was in 2014. And then the album was just garbage. It was disjointed trash. What's next? I might save that one for another video, because then I can pick my guitar up alongside it, actually. Ooh, we have mm, mm, three Opeth albums here. I don't know why I don't have others. I think they must be in the Black Wallets or whatever. Oh my god, they're gonna fall. We have mm, Damnation, Deliverance, and Blackwater Park. Blackwater Park, memories of. First got advised to listen to them by a fellow who worked at Elstree Library many years ago, back when I was just starting listening to heavier music. My grandparents bought me a copy of Heritage, I believe it was. Really nice, limited or whatever edition of it with the glossy cover and stuff. I don't know what you'd call it, cover. Blackwater Park, I think my mum bought me, but actually, no, I think it was my grandparents got me this as well. I seem to remember. And yeah, they're a band that album particularly had been a part of my life ever since I heard it. I remember listening to Ghost Reveries whilst walking around my old area near Cowley Street. I remember on the way into town, back when I was just starting to spread my wings and go out a bit on my own. I listened to Baying of the Hounds off that album a lot. Ghosted Perdition was a regular one when I was on my paper round and stuff. Yeah, I really like Opeth. Let me move that out the way on that. Otherwise, I'm going to be covering the entire screen. Can do another three at once here. Britney Spears, we have In the Zone, Oops, I Did It Again, and Baby One More Time. Baby One More Time was the first album I ever heard, although I think it wasn't the album actually. I think I had the single on CD back when that was still a thing. I was trying to get all Britney records. I don't know why. I like Britney Spears, but I didn't in the end. But yeah, lots of memories of being a small child, hearing her songs everywhere. I think Mum listened to them quite a bit as well when she first came out. Two albums I can lug together. You've got Obscura's Omnivium and Spawn of Possessions Incurso. Same lead guitarist, Christian Gensner. The same guy who was in Necrophagist. Very technical death metal music. I learned Vortex Omnivium on guitar. Well, I say I learned most of it. Tried to learn some Spawn of Possession, they're just way too hard for me. We can throw this in as well, Surreption's Engineering the Void and Deterioration of Minds by Surreption as well. Two more technical death metal bands, albums by a technical death metal band. I liked one of them, I think it was Engineering the Void. I bought them while I was at Bothwood, whilst I was playing Dark Souls 2 when I first got that on Xbox 360. I would listen to a lot of music in the background because the game was so hard. It took me 70 hours to beat on my first run. And yeah, it was good to just listen to some music in the background because you didn't really need much sound while you were playing it. And that was one. Excuse me. Soundgarden, Super Unknown. I remember when I was a bit of a mess. Before I went into prison and hospital, I was living with a guy called Steve, a house share over in Chaddeston on Cowsley Road. And I was tripping, and he put on Black Hole Sun's music video, which was a scary experience. I don't really like Soundgarden that much, I've got to be honest. My brother does though, so Nuclear Assault, it's an old school thrash album, I like it, I have no stories for it. Overkill's Ironbound, listened to this a lot while I was playing Minecraft. I remember Cover Killer Nation reviewing this and saying it was an amazing album. I liked it at the time, but I liked it even more a few years later when I was at Bothwood and I was listening to it playing Minecraft. I think it's my favourite Overkill album, and I really like Overkill as a band, so that's probably says a lot about it. Murder Dolls, Women and Children Last. I love Murder Dolls. They're like horror punk, so they're like punk music with a horror horror lyricism approach. This one's not. This is more of just a straightforward metal album. It has Joey Jordison on guitars from Slipknot, and it has Wednesday 13 on vocals. This album, I remember there was a girl called Chloe Applegren at school who I downloaded it all before it was officially out because it leaked for her. That's the only memory I have of it. I really like the album. I've listened to it loads of times. It's brilliant. But yeah, let's do this stack. Hmm. This is not actually mine. This was put in my property when I left Westwood, and I cannot get it back to the original owner. Let's have a look. Is there anything we can group together? We've got 3 hip-hoppy, well, 1 grind, 2 hip-hoppy albums. We've got Jamie's Integrity, Jin's The Rest Is History, and Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt. Reasonable Doubt was a Sputnik album. Everyone liked it. The Jin album, I remember Disaster was due to battle him at the time, so I was like, sod it, I'll listen to his album. He backed out many, many times from memory. And the JME album I really, really liked when I was at Westwood. I listened to it loads of times. Man Don't Care is very good. Don't At Me is very good. No You Ain't is good. And The Title Track is very good. Oh, and 96 Fuckeries, that's a damn good song. But yeah, I've listened to this album many times, gone back to it loads. JME's actually on the Sidemen stuff quite a lot. We have In Flames, The Jester Race. I'm not a big In Flames fan, but this album's a classic, so I bought it. I quite like Moonshield. I like December Flower and Graveland as well, I think. Iron Maiden's debut album. Don't know why I own this. There was a magazine called... There was an order thing you could... What was it called? There was a magazine that sold like metal merchandise and clothing. I can't remember what it was called, but I ordered this whilst I was there because they used to have a CD selection in there as well whilst I was at Westwood. I can't remember the name of the bloody company now. But they specialise in selling like metal band merchandise and CDs and stuff. They're good. But I don't know why I bought that album. I don't like it. We come to that one could go off. Ingestion's Passing the Boundary of Human Suffering, just another death metal record. Very messed up from memory. Jesus Christ, actually, yeah. Intracranial semen injection. Alright. Whatever you say, lads. I'll put that to one side because that I can talk a bit more about. 2 more In Me records. I've never even opened this one. This was Jumpstart Hope. I bought it at the time. I was really excited for it. And then I just listened to it on Spotify. And then their best of, bought this in Westwood. Saccharine Arcadia. Thanks for Believing Me. And I'm sure there's one other song that's brand new. Oh, Bury Me Deep Beneath Your Skin. They were all original recordings for this. The rest of the songs are just from their first 4 albums. Tom, again, Saccharine Arcadia was a song he got me into. He said I'd like it. It's a lot heavier than their other stuff. And this is just a damn good collection. It's got some great stuff on it. So, yeah, I like that compilation a lot. I don't really like best-ofs massively. I did when I was younger because it was a good way of finding like the big songs by bands. I had a Thin Lizzy one, my grandparents bought me. I had a The Who one across 2 discs. I had a Fake No More one across 2 discs. I had Alice Cooper. Trying to think if I had any others. Pantera. It was a good way of listening to music by bands without listening to their full records. You just got the big hits, which was good. My mum bought me this mug for either my birthday or Christmas 2 or 3 years ago now, and it's nice. I like it a lot. It's very gamery. It's a controller on it says you have reached level 30, which anyone who knows me knows that a lot of my life I spend on video games, or I did. I haven't for the last few months. I spent a long time grinding for under 1 hour completion on Resident Evil 2 Remake. Other than that, I haven't played games at all over the last few months. Played a few games of Fortnite and Warzone. And I'll talk about these things, of course, but I haven't really wanted to waste the time on it. When you've not got that long left, and you've got enough stuff that you want to get done, then you don't really find time to do these things. Sorry, I'm just having a break while I have a cuppa, but I'm not going to finish off these. Hmm. I guess I could talk a little bit about the fact we're on the 5th now. I've still not done the recording of what actually happened. I've still not wrote the letters I need to write. I plan to record or write something for the constabulary. I plan to write or record something for the coroner, and for my healthcare team. Um, yeah, I want to make sure all the ducks are in a row and all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Mm. I'm completely okay about this. I'm not sad. I mean, look at me. I'm okay. I'm more just concerned for my family. It's mm, I'm struggling for words. None of this is performative. I really can't think of how to say what I'm trying to say, except that it's difficult because I know no matter way, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's going to hurt people, but I just hope my mum has enough support around her to um, to be okay. Yeah, I say it every single video pretty much. I love my mum and my brother and my grandparents and my friends and my uncles, everybody that I have spoken on really. But my mum, my brother, my grandparents, they are people that I have a sense of regret because I can't spend any more time with them. I'm seeing my mum at the weekend. I'm going to take her out to possibly Lincoln. I think we've floated the idea of. Um, I might invite my grandparents to it. Um, I just want her to have one last good memory with me, um, because it's not. None of this is about making me feel okay. Um, Doing this isn't for me. None of what I'm doing at the minute's for me. It's for them, and I want to just make sure my mum has one final happy day. That no matter what's happened in my life, what I've done wrong, um, I always have loved them. Yes, there's been times we've not spoken and we've argued and we've cussed each other out, but I have always loved my mum. But these last few months have been the happiest I've been with my family ever. Um, and it's just horrible that we're at this point now where I've got um, 5 days left. Um, and then nothing. I'm 31 years old, and of course, I don't want to go. Um, I'm not thrilled about the concept of this. Of course, I'm not, but it's got to be done. Um, mm, I'm going to try and get the video explaining things done tonight. Um, we've got the Arsenal Atletico Madrid game, the second leg, which I'm sure will be boring as it gets. And then after that, I might sit down and really try and talk. Yeah, sorry for this little interlude. I'm just having my coffee before it goes cold. I don't have a whole lot of coffee left in to last for the next couple of days. So, yeah, I'm trying to make use of what I've got instead of just drinking water. But yeah, so the plan for the next few days is to get all this done, all of my stuff packed, and then to finish off the writings. Um, and then Saturday to spend the day with my mum. Sunday I've got two options right now. Friday I've got to see Amanda. That's not going to be easy. Holding it together, as in holding a straight face. Sunday, I have two options. One is because I initially, if I'd had another week, which was what I assumed, then I would have spent my last 3 days solidly recording, 72 hours, recording myself here, doing the things I enjoy doing, watching movies, playing games, whatever. whilst talking and just reminiscing and reflecting on life. Now, I could do that for the last 24 hours, from midnight on Saturday to midnight on Sunday, when I would roughly go, as long as everything's set up before. Or I could spend the day walking around areas, filming, talking, reminiscing with my friend. I floated this idea without telling him about this. Um, yeah, so it's it's difficult. It's a choice I've got to make. Anyway, sorry, I'm waffling bollocks about my thought process right now. Right, I'm going to put a few of these to one side just because they're a bit more extensive to talk about. This one and this one. I remember I went to see my mum over Christmas and stayed over. I think I've spoken about this actually, but we get through the door, and as she gets through the door, I've gone to see my brother earlier, and she's got all this shopping and stuff, these snacks she's got in for over Christmas, and she's regaling me with these ones and these ones and these ones, and it's just something that's always been, always since then, made me laugh thinking about it. And whenever I've taken her to the cinema or whatever, I've always said these ones and these ones and these ones. So what do we have left? I've put a few to one side because I can talk a little more on those. No Devotion, Permanence. It's the members, the Wernsey and Watkins of Lost Prophets, with the singer of Thursday. I really liked the single 10,000 Summers, bought the album. It's alright, it's okay. New Year's Day, Malevolence, they're like the new era emo scene band, or they were for a while. Ash Costello, the vocalist, I mean, look at her, she's the archetype of that. I liked Kill or Be Killed, and I liked Anthem of the Unwanted. You can obviously hear in the song titles the emo-y stuff. My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade. I prefer Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. This one has the title track, Welcome to the Black Parade, and Teenagers, which are the two big hit songs, and they're my favourites on there. They're very good. Ed Sheeran's Plus. I went to school with a girl called Lucy Turton. I remember in ICT one day we were talking about music, and she recommended me Ed Sheeran. I think it was Lego House, which is on here. And then I also remember listening to Birdie's cover of the A-Team, and then listening to the Ed Sheeran version. I hadn't heard it before that. Strangely, because it was huge. And yeah, it was good. And then there's You Need Me, I Don't Need You, which is like Ed Sheeran's rap song off this album. He does one on most albums. I like it. I prefer Birdie's version of the A-Team. Obituary, Cause of Death, just classic death metal album, staple in collections. Chopped in Half is obviously a great song. And was one of the first death metal songs I ever heard, so there's that. The Falling in Reverse, Fashionably Late album I mentioned earlier, the one my mum bought me. It had like a poster with it as well, but I put that up while I was in Lothwood. It contains 3 extra tracks, expanded booklet. Those 3 extra tracks, Where Have You Been? That one's good. Goddamn, I don't remember that. And a remix of Rolling Stone. This I remember. So on Sputnik, I made a friend called Dalton Dubois. He's a really decent guy. Sometimes he can be a bit odd. But he loved this album. And I remember when it first came out, he was telling me, oh my god, there's a this type song and there's a that type song, as he was listening to it, because the album's completely disjointed. There's no logic between songs. And then he gets down, he's like, there's even a country song. And so when I finally got around to listening to this, there's aspects of it I hate. I mean, Ronnie Radke sounds garbage on it, and yet I still like it. The lyrics are rubbish, but I still like them. Yeah, I love this album, and the fact that my mum bought me this obviously makes it mean more. This CD's now, I don't know, 12 years old. I think it was 2014 she bought me this. She asked me what I would like for Christmas, this was what I asked for, I think. Yeah, it's a great album. Well, it's not a great album. It's an album I love. Suicide Silence's self-titled record. So after Mitch Lucker died, Suicide Silence disappeared for a bit, and then they came back with this. Oh no, they came back with You Can't Stop Me first, which was actually quite good. I bought this when it first came out. I think I pre-ordered it. Got it alongside Coming Home by Falling in Reverse, and it's one of the worst albums ever made. Doris, the opening song, sets you up for what you're in for. You are in for absolute garbage. 000 guitar riffs, terrible vocals. It's shit. Quite proud of my review of that one. We'll do this one. This also was not mine. This was also put in my property. This is Ozzy Osbourne's Memoirs of a Madman. Now, this is actually a good album as well. This is an album I like. I did try learning Mr. Crowley's solo after Ozzy died. I can play Crazy Train or bits of it. Mr. Crowley's solo is too hard. We have 2 Sia records. Sia is my favourite singer. These ones, though, are not very good. I bought most of her albums. These 2 are not good at all. Yeah. Taylor Swift, 1989. Now, when Shake It Off came out, I liked that song, but I bought the album. I didn't listen to the album at all. I just bought it because I liked a couple of the songs off it. Blank Space is an excellent song. Style is awesome. I had a really nice A3 poster of Taylor Swift because I quite like Taylor Swift. She's a very lovely looking lady. This album, though, I came back to years later. Amanda really dislikes Taylor Swift, and I was like, I'm going to put her on just to wind you up. But anyway, I didn't. But I listened to her later on. I listened to her a lot while I was playing 7 Days to Die with my friend Jordan. I'd listened to her a lot while I was doing other things when we went on the walking groups. I'd have her on in my headphones. And it was this album, and this album is excellent. Welcome to New... Oh, I know what else I added on. When Path of Exile 2 came out, my friend bought me it. Or it's like an early access thing, I should say. Bought me the early access. And I had it on during that. Welcome to New York's a good opener. Blank Space and Style and Shake It Off and Bad Blood are all huge singles, and they're very good. I think my favourites would be Style and I Wish You Would, and All You Had to Do Was Stay. Yeah, this is a damn good album, actually. How You Got the Girl as well reminds me of... there's a song on Lana Del Rey's Born to Die. I forget what it's called. When we get to Born to Die, I'll maybe remember. I'm going to put this to one side. I'm going to listen to it later. While I've been cleaning up, I've actually had CDs on for a change. Madison Beers, Silence Between Songs. I bought this and I haven't opened it. I listened to it on Spotify. I went to see Madison Beer. She was the second singer I saw, I think, after I came out of hospital. I saw her in Birmingham, I think, at the O2. And I had a blast. This was an amazing experience. I was on the balcony bit at the top, right at the front though, so I had a good view. Madison Beer, she messes up her songs from time to time and she has a laugh about it. She doesn't care. She looked very much like Lara Croft in the outfit she was in, which was cool. And this album I love. This album's great. It's a song I really like. Home to Another One. Home to Another One's an absolute banger. And then you've got King of Everything, which shows off her range. I love Madison Beer to bits. She's fantastic. She's more of an influencer than a singer, really. But I love this record. It's unopened. It will stay unopened. But yeah, I had to add it to my collection. Now we come to the ones I've set aside. And we could take a little bit on each of these. This one, not so much. New Model Armies, We Love the World. This was my dad's favourite band when I went to see him back in 2013, I think. He introduced me to them, showed me some of their music. put a live DVD on. I say introduced me in that regard. I think it was this live DVD as well that's on here. The album Thunder and Consolation is excellent. I don't own it, but yeah. Green and Grey, I believe, was his favourite song. And I have to say it's mine on here as well. Or my favourite by them as well. But I also like Stupid Questions. They're a good band. And this... I had to add this to my collection because of that. Because of my father. I think a collection... If you build a collection out of anything, you're building out who you are. You're showing who you are in your collection. You don't buy other people's favorite things. You buy yours, or you buy things that have significance to you, which we'll get on to with these other ones. And so I had to add this because, it was a very important memory to me. Not so much a happy or sad one, just an important one. It gave me a chance to reconnect with something or connect with something I never really had a chance to connect with in my life, which was my father. So, yeah, which is something I've mentioned a couple of times I am a little bitter about, a little, not sad about, but I don't know how to say it and I don't know what to say, except that both sides stole that opportunity from me. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with two people falling out or two people not being what they each thought they were, or at least my dad wasn't what my mum thought he was. I don't know on the other side. But I should still have had that opportunity, and it's more my dad stole that chance from me. My mum never proactively tried to keep us in contact, but the onus was on my dad to do so. And he didn't after a while. And I really do have a frustration and even an anger about that. And I shouldn't have anger at somebody who I'm almost certain is dead. I shouldn't have that feeling towards them, but I do. Because I think people need both influences. They don't just need the one. This is a tangent I'm going off on, but I'm very much against letting gay people adopt kids, for instance, because you need both sides. You need a mum and a father. You need both influences, and I didn't have that through my life at any point. My granddad was my father influence, and that shouldn't be the case. That really shouldn't. And yeah, like I say, one of the very, very few almost angers I have, frustrations I have, is that I never had that chance to have an actual father in my life. I had somebody who turned up once a year, maybe twice, would take us away for a few days. And of course, they were good few days. As a little kid, you remember what you went out and did. You don't really remember the interactions when you're a very little kid, I should say. And I remember my nanny, his mum. I remember her very well. She was a lovely lady. That is one person you could not say a bad word about. But I still kind of wish I'd had a lasting bond with him rather than once a year or twice a year or however often it was. It was definitely that sort of time frame. It was probably under once a year, but not quite half. And just going off with them for a few days and then not having them in your life during the years where you do start to build connections, you do start to how do you say it? Like, you start to understand the values of the people and the interactions you have rather than the memories you make. And again, I shouldn't say it like this because it's not blame. It's not blame, so I'm not going to say it in that regard. But I can't help but have that slight lingering frustration at both of my parents for that particular aspect of my life. And of course, it's not for me to say people were right or wrong, and I don't think they were. I don't have any actual resentment towards the individuals for their decisions. I have a sense of dislike for the fact I didn't have that opportunity to make my own decision because I was too young. And that's, I guess, why the memory of going to see him years later, when I was an adult and I could make my own mind up, has more significance to me because I not tracked him down, but I looked him up. I got in touch. I was proactive about it. And I had a few days, maybe a long weekend, to make those calls and judgments and decisions myself. And it wasn't a great weekend. It was okay. It was good. It was okay. I think I would say not good. But I could see why my family don't like my father. But that wasn't my impression of him. I had no. I didn't think negatively of him. I don't care if somebody smokes weed. I don't give a damn. It's their life. I don't care if somebody still likes punk stuff. Um, I know my dad did want to work, which was something that always got thrown about him. Um, and that's from my whole side of my family, not just individual people. I'm trying very hard to skirt around this because I don't blame anyone. I don't have any ill feelings towards individuals about it. But I really struggle talking about this. It's something I made a 10-minute video or so the other day on that I just because I'd been looking at his stuff online and I don't know, this is like a part of me that's missing, a part of me that was never really even there. And of course, he wasn't a good father. He didn't make an effort really. He sodded off back to Holland, I think, for a few years. Um, but I know that some of the things that I was told weren't entirely accurate. He didn't not want to work because he was a scrounger. He had serious, serious depression and mental health issues. Um, and as somebody who's experienced those things myself in life, I empathize a little more. I don't know if empathize is the right word, but I can look past those things. And I want to, at least in these writings, I want to write at least a bit about my father because I want to write a tribute to him. And a tribute you usually think is glowingly positive. This won't be. Um, this will be a tribute of real frustration and absence, but ultimately he was still my father and I still love him. And the fact that he, from everything I've heard, passed away, and my last interaction with him was a long time before. I don't know, there's just some real lingering sadness there, some unresolved emotion that I have. I feel like crying talking about this, I really do. Mm, yeah. In some ways, I just want to say F him because he did have that agency and that choice to stay in touch, but I can't, man. You know, when somebody's passed away who was my relative and who I don't have bad memories of, I can't do that. I can't just go F you, you or a whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that is an important record, and I know I've got talking about it for 10, 15 minutes now, but like I say, these will be a bit more in depth. These are important records for me. These are ones that really do have a place in my life and a place in my heart, and this is one. When I said about collections and you build out your who you are through your collections of things, this is what I'm referring to. This was a bit more personal. Each of these CDs I could give you stories from, and I've tried to in some cases. I could point to songs on each record. I said in the last one doing this I was going to try and do so. And I've tried to with a few songs. I've tried to say, I remember playing this alongside Dark Souls 2, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, there's just not enough time to sit here for 20 minutes per album and bore the life out of you with every single song on it and what they mean to me and what I remember about them. but this has to be on there. And like I said, green and grey is man, that sounds good. I'm gonna pause it while I go and make another drink and put these away, and then we'll move on to these. I'm going to get my guitar out. I won't be plugging it in, but just for one of the albums on here, it's important because it's been a big part of my life. Hello again, and you'll see I've slightly moved the angle of the camera, and I have my guitar in my hand. The album I want to talk about next is Necrophagist Epitaph. It's a album that is of huge significance to me. It's an album I first came across many, many years ago, and is notorious for its extremity, its technicality. I have a couple of memories with it, first and foremost. I remember Leafy coming over to mine, and we just had Spotify on in the background, and this came on. Stab Wound, I believe it was. Or maybe. I remember also walking her home one day and then walking home with fermented offal discharge on. I remember when I went to Wathwood on the phone to Gage, and Gage saying, "Oh," so I was talking about learning some of that stuff. He was like, because I could play some of it already, he was like, "You'll be able to play every single song I've wrote by the time you get out," because of how dedicated I was to it. I don't remember where I first heard the album, and I don't actually have many proper memories related to it. But it's a very important record for me in the sense that it pushed me to actually learn more on the guitar than I would have liked to. Than I would have liked to, than I would have ordinarily. So my guitar progression, like many, started with Metallica. I don't remember most of it. What's Enter Sandman? No, that's not it. I don't remember. And then you have, I'm trying to think. So one I learned for a long time, I can't remember the whole thing, but was Frantic Disembowelment by Cannibal Corpse. Something like, and it's not tuned in, it's not plugged in, just like. And then it moves down there, and it's like. And obviously that's terrible. I'm not playing it well at all. I can't remember it. It's been a long time. But then I also liked stuff like which is CKY's 96, Quite Bitter Beings. And I had a progression of learning stuff, like I learned Megadeth. What was that like? I can't remember the rest of the solo. That's just the intro to the Symphony for Destruction solo. I'm not playing these for any reason really. Just going through memory road. But then I eventually moved on to learning stuff like Necrophagist. They were the band that really pushed me to learn differently. So like I learned Stab Wound. Might help if I wasn't so cramped in, but you get the point. It's like But then one thing I really liked about learning the band was that they really pushed me to learn solos as well. So Necrophagist have a lot of very intricate, sweet, picky solos, but that don't involve crazy amounts of shredding. So one of the good early ones I liked learning was the solo to Stab Wound, which was you'll have to forgive me, I've not warmed up at all. But yeah, you get the point, and then you get the main solo that's like. But yeah, I'm just showing these to show, like, to leave behind some record of what I liked playing. There was the Advanced Corpse Tumor solo that took me a while to learn, which was like. I'm getting very tripped up on that. I never liked that second of that solo. I can't play it very well, and especially not on the first attempt. Then there was Fermented Awful Discharge. This solo, there is actually, Ben might have a recording from Discord of me playing this very roughly and very messily and messing up a few times when I was learning it, but that's like. Anyway, I'm messing up a lot, but you get the point. Like, it's stuff that really pushed me to learn. Whoops, I messed that up. Yeah. I'm only using this to show this is why this album means a lot to me, because that's stuff I've spent ages learning. Not playing it well, but I've not warmed up. I haven't picked the guitar up at all for like a week. And you've got how did it go? The solo to Symbiotic Interiors, like. Whoops. Whoops. And I don't remember the rest of that one. And then the one that I spent the most. Oh no, wait, there was how did Ignominious Impale go? Ignominious Impale is one of their really, really difficult songs, both riff and solo. The riffs start like. Yeah, I can't play it very well. And then you've got the verse riff that's like. Yeah, and then the solo's like. I can't bloody pray. Yeah, it's not easy, and it's stuff that I don't play anymore. I don't play at all, really. The only song that I have, or solo that I have spent time with recently, was the Stillborn one, which is probably the hardest song overall. The riffs, I mean, they start off fairly okay with some chordy stuff, but then you get into like. Yeah, and then you go to the it's not easy. And then you get to the solo, which is the part that I spent the most time on. I can't play it well, I can't play it perfectly, and I'm going to be awful because of this setup, but let's have a go. Mm. Oops, let's have one more go with that. Oops. Yeah, I cannot play very well, but I wanted to just drag that out for a few minutes. Because that's what Necrophagus did for me. They pushed me to start playing a bit more, or rather to start trying to play more seriously. And I've never been a great guitarist. Sorry, I'm trying to get my frame correct again. But I had fun learning that stuff. Some of that stuff now I haven't played for months, and I still get joy out of just picking it up and trying to remember little bits. The one piece that I do remember vaguely well how to play, and I'm going to mess up the last section almost certainly because it's been a while and I'm not good. I'm not tidy. I'm not. But it's the Dream Theater on the Backs of Angels solo, which is that was very messy. Yeah, definitely not doing that. That's that can eat a dick. But the reason I pulled that out, it wasn't performative. It wasn't to show off because obviously there's nothing to show off. I can hardly play them. I used to be able to play some of those pieces significantly tighter than that, but forgive me. I pulled them out more as a case of memory. I really like that album. I really liked learning the songs of that. I put hundreds of hours into it collectively. And yeah, I would have liked to have learned more stuff from Megadeth, probably from them. I wanted to learn the solo to Sudden Death by Megadeth. I wanted to learn 44 Minutes. I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn the solo to Winter Suns, Winter Madness. But that was definitely a pipe dream. I tried learning Origins, the Aftermath. That was a bit too fast. But yeah, guitar's been something that's really given me something to focus on when I've not been able to focus for a while. And that band helped me to start taking it a bit more seriously, not massively. That and the first album by Necrophagus are the first two albums I bought when I went to Wathwood, bought myself. And I still listen to them to this day. They are amazing albums. Yeah. I kept trying to persuade my brother to learn bits of that stuff, but he wouldn't. I'm not going to take as much time on this one. Peroxide by Nina Nesbitt. Never opened it. The song, where is it? The hardest part. Leafy introduced me to this song and this singer, and I think the song is emblematic of how things went between us. We both still liked each other. I know that. She's told me that. I've told her that. And neither of us were in a good situation in terms of for that to continue. In fact, she was in a relationship, and that's what it is. I never have tried to get between that. And I will, of course, be talking about this more in the one where I talk about what went wrong. But Nina Nesbitt's album, I bought and added to my collection for that reason, for the same reason I bought the New Model Army one. I can't listen to that song without crying to this day. I mean, that's I cannot put it on. I still like the song, I listen to it. I actually like a few songs on the album. I listen to it on Spotify. I like the title track, I like Stay Out, Align. Um, but the hardest part is the song for me, and because of that, it's also very tainted for me and one I struggle with. Um, to this day, I still love Leafy. I don't know why anymore, and I think when you don't know why you love somebody, there's a problem. In some ways, maybe what happened between us was my fault. Um, in some ways, in other ways, I think when you say to somebody, as cringe as it is, I feel like what happened before is about to happen again. And they say to you, no, it's not. Um, and you ask them to promise you that they'll tell you if they need to cut you off, which I did. Um, and if she still has all the old texts, then she probably knows that. Then I think you should keep to that. And that's why I don't know why I still love her, because I could have taken it, I could have handled it, and we wouldn't be in this situation now. I am almost certain if that had happened, if she just said, look, I need to take a step back, I need to stop talking to you, and this is why. But that not knowing, that constant feeling of emptiness, going from speaking to somebody 24/7 to nothing. And I had a feeling it was happening. I will say this on the longer video, I'm fairly sure. To deny it though, and then to do it anyway, was just. I wouldn't wish that pain on anybody. I really wouldn't. I don't blame her. Well, no, I do. Of course I do. I blame her. But I also blame myself because it could have been my fault. But that's just not a way you treat somebody you care about. And it's why I'm here now. And so I still love her, like I say, I just don't know why anymore. And it doesn't make a difference if I do or don't know why, because it means nothing to her. And that's fine. I want the best for her. I want her to have a happy life. I want her to thrive and succeed. And I'm just regretful that things didn't work out better. And I'm sure when I talk about friends and family, we'll talk about her a lot, because I have a lot to say. She is the most consequential person on my life outside of my family, and as much as my family, to be honest. And that's not to say I prefer her to my family or vice versa. It's just the way it is. It's somebody so significant to me. I really don't have a whole lot to say in terms of the way I feel around her right now. I've got 5 days left. There's no real point in moaning or anything really. But seeing that album and thinking about that song really does makes my heart pound a bit. It makes me a bit Um, I don't really know what to say. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling to think of things to say around that. Just that, I guess, I want each of these stories to at least have some positive to them. And in her case, I guess it's that I do love her. I have loved her since the day I met her, pretty much within that time frame. And I'm sure on Sunday I'll think of her quite a bit as well. Mm. I'll be reflecting on a lot of stuff, thinking a lot, um, and I hope she's happy right now because that's all I'd want for her. Anyway, let's move on from that because that's not fun. Mm. Two more. Which shall I go with? Fit for Rivals. Steady Damage. Now, this album was the most consequential album for me for a long time. It was my favorite album. I listened to it all the time. It's objectively bang average, maybe slightly above average. It's a pop punk album by a singer who used to be in a hardcore punk band named Renee Phoenix. I've got t-shirts of hers. I've got her EP. Um, I even emailed her a couple of times. I love it a bit. She's wonderful. But this album, I remember it was a Sputnik album, funnily enough. Dalton, I mentioned him before, says this album doesn't have a review. You'll like it. Maybe you should give it a review. And I love it. I don't know why I love it. I couldn't put into words, but every song on it, Damage, Girl in a Coma, Can't Live Without You, Better Off Alone, Get With Me, they're all brilliant. This album, sorry, there's a small layer of dust on it and it's annoying me. This album I didn't even know you could buy physically, so when I went to Watford and I ordered it, I was over the moon because I didn't think I'd be able to hear it at any point while I was there. Sorry, I've realised I'm talking quietly. And yeah, I this album I listened to so much for so long. That whole period, whilst I was at YMCA, whilst I was, I assume, whilst I was at college, I can't actually remember. Um, Going forward into, I mean, it says on it 2013. The album did not come out in 2013. It came out in 2009, I think, maybe 2007, but I think 2009. Going into the rough year, um, the year that led to me going away. Yeah, this album was a huge part of my life. Yeah, there are plenty. No, I won't. I won't say this. Actually, there are plenty of records of me joke trollingly talking about this band as well, just being a troll. But I won't go into detail. It's just funny to me. Yeah, I love this album. I can't talk about it as much because there's not a lot really to say. It's just pop punk music. But if I had to list my favorite 5 albums that I would take to a desert island with me, or maybe even 5 albums that have had a significant staying power with me, you'd have Neil Diamond's Home Before, not Home Before Dark, the jazz singer. You'd have Cryptopsy's Non Servile. You'd have Inmi's Harold Moth, probably. Possibly the next one we're going to talk about, but also possibly Demi Lovato's Unbroken. And then you would have this. I can listen to this whenever, start to finish. It's about half an hour long. And I don't know, it never gets boring for me. So they did a second album years later called Freak Machine, which is not as good, but I like some of the songs on it quite a bit. I like Freak Machine. I like Special Kind of Crazy. Um, Novocaine. I can't actually remember the second album as well. I've not listened to it nearly as much. Yeah, this album, Steady Damage by Fit for Rivals, is just looking at it now, just not so much the cover, just looking at the fact that it is what it is. It's the Fifth Arrivals album that I waxed lyrical about for a couple of years. It takes me back to that time, when I was really struggling. Um, I don't think any of my friends really like them. Amy knows the song Steady Damage, but that's about it. I think the song's just called Damage, actually. Um, but it was start to finish. I must have listened to it 100 times in that time frame. It was so just there for me, so easy to listen to when I was not feeling good. Um, yeah, I love this album so much. Last one, another one I love so much. Jack Off Jill's Clear Hearts, Grey Flowers. Very cool album art, actually. I love this one. Three like dolls on a, what do you call those things with the horses, a carousel. This, when I was self harming, I looked up songs about it. I don't know why. And Strawberry Gashes was one that was mentioned by this band. And so I listened to it, but then I listened to the whole album because the song's brilliant, actually. I still love the song to this day. It's just so energetic, so fun, this album. It's very depressing at times, very dark lyrically. Nazi Halo, Cinnamon Spider, Vivica, Strawberry Gashes. Um, but it's also phenomenal, start to finish. Yeah, Rhiannon, my friend, really liked them as well, I think. I don't have any specific memories with it, really, but it was a huge part of my life. When I was doing paper rounds, I'd have some of the songs from it on. Um, I liked I like Nazi Halo. That was a good favourite of mine. When I Am Queen, of course. Author Unknown, Cinnamon Spider. Yeah, I don't have much to say on this one except to say that I said about 5 records that could go to a desert island with me or whatever. This may well be one of them, and this may actually well be the first I mentioned because start to finish, it's phenomenal. Um, and the songs are very powerful and mean a lot to me. So, thank you for sitting, listening to me, if anyone did. Yes, I went off on a tangent a couple of times. I had a bit of a tea break. I've got to get back to cleaning up now, for now, but that meant I could get my sofa cleared, and I've got Taylor Swift to listen to whilst I clean up, which I'm sure will be fun. As always, thank you for listening, and some of the things I've spoke about today have been a bit heavier. I'm sorry if they don't feel so good to listen to. I keep saying I want to leave enough memories behind for people. I want people to be able to hear me speak and hear what I think about things and what memories I have, and if they bring back memories for other people. And I want that to be a positive spin. So when I was speaking about my father, I made it clear, everybody involved. I have no hard feelings about it. I don't have any real regret about it. I just have my own feelings on it. In the case of speaking about Leafy, I hope she's doing well. I really do. I often say to people, because I am very strong with my opinions. I'm very opinionated. But I always say, I'm glad you like this. I'm glad. And sometimes when people say that, they're being facetious or they're whatever. They're trying to little bro somebody or talk down somebody. I don't. To me, I mean it. I'm glad if people like things I don't like. I'm glad if. And when I say, I hope people are doing well, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Because I wouldn't be me without those people. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.